Hey guys, kinggath here with another patch for Sim Settlements. This is patch 3.5.2, which I'm calling I Gotta Have More Foundations. And this patch resolves an issue that I think a lot of you guys have been hoping for a while. So a few patches back, I had hidden the foundation plots. And that was so that I could add more dynamic features to the plots. So the first feature I had added at that time was the ability to convert plots from one type to another. So you could change, say, an agricultural plot into a residential or something like that. And that was really powerful for the city plans, but not particularly useful for those of you who are building everything manually. So now I have a really cool new feature to show you, and it's got a lot to it. So let's just start with the simplest way. So the first thing you're going to notice if you click on the ASAM sensor menu, there is a customized plot option. And under here is where the change plot type was moved to. But there's also a new option called change foundation. So if you choose that, you'll be presented with a menu. You can pick a foundation, and when you exit out, boom, you've got that foundation. And now you can pick up the plot, and that foundation is now attached to the plot, so it'll move with it. You can place it nicely together, and it works really well if you've got place everywhere. Now note that the foundation itself is actually separate, and you can even scrap it. So that's important because of what I'm about to show you. So if you head into either MCM, or if you're not using this, you can find it under the holotape in gameplay options usability. But the option called auto place plot foundation. So if you turn that on, then anytime you place a plot, it will come with a foundation. So we're going to go ahead and place down another residential plot. And so that option I highly recommend everybody turn on because it's real easy to just scrap a foundation if you don't need it, whereas it's a little more trouble to go in and swap each one dynamically on the sensor menu. But the sensor menu has one other thing that gets added if you enable that auto place option. So if you go under customize plot again, you'll see that there's now a set default foundation for this plot type. So I'm working with residential, so we're going to go ahead and change that to clay terraformer, and then it doesn't mess with the current one, but any future ones I place will now spawn with that particular foundation. So we're going to talk about terraformers for a second, and then I'm going to jump back into that sensor menu because I got to talk about it a little more. So the terraformers, if you haven't seen these before, were added over the summer in an Industrial Revolution patch, and they're actually in the base mod, but you do need certain materials from Industrial Revolution to use them. So if you haven't been playing around with the Industrial Revolution plots, you would never have these materials. And if you weren't using Settlement Menu Manager, you wouldn't even see these as buildable, as they're only available in the Sim Settlements menu under Foundations. But now they are an option for everybody under the foundations that can spawn underneath the plot. So everybody has access to these. Now, if you're not familiar with these, essentially when this block is built a few seconds later, it will kind of smooth out the ground with some nav meshed pieces that kind of interlink and make a nice looking little piece of ground that has a flat top to it. What's interesting about these is if you scrap the main block, it will scrap all of these pieces, but not the other way around. So if you decide you want to snap together more terraformers on there and make a larger piece of land, you can do that. So if you're not familiar with those, that's how those work. And if you scrap this, it'll pick up all those little pieces. All right, so now I want to pop back into the ASAM sensor menu because you may have noticed that the foundation select screen is a little bit different than the building plan select screen. And this is a new method I'm experimenting with. And if it turns out that this is working without any hiccups, then this is the method I will probably go back and change everything to, because this is a much more powerful method than the way we currently do building plans. So in the building plan select screen, you would see all of the building plan options on the right and your entire inventory on the left. Well, now we only ever see the exact items that are eligible to be put in there, which means you can't accidentally lose any of your items from your inventory by dropping them into the building plan container. And essentially, you just put the thing in here and trade it, and now you can see exactly what's going to get built. Whereas in the other menus, it can be a little tough to tell which one you last selected, so it can be hard to remember which one. Whereas here, you've got clear confirmation. Another benefit of this is you can actually use it for pseudo randomization. So if I'm not sure which of these I want to use, I can put in a couple of them, and then when I exit out, it will randomly choose between those for me. And that's going to be really powerful when we switch building plans over to that method. Is that I'm sure it happens a lot for you guys who are add-on pack collectors, that you're in the mood for just one from a certain author, or you have a handful you really like, and you'll be able to just quickly plop those in there and let it randomly select between them. So I'm real excited for this new method. So if it works well for this foundation thing, definitely let me know your experiences on the forums. And if it's going well, I will implement that in other locations as well. All right, so as always, please read the patch notes, just because there's generally little things I change that you guys are going to be aware of. I will tell you there is one really good thing, and that's that I've sped up city plans, and in particular, I've sped up the speed that city plans from add-on packs, such as the city plan contest mods, the speed that those city plans register with the desk, so things should run a little more smoothly in that regard when you're using city plans. Now, before I sign off, I do want to invite you guys all to follow us on your favorite social media. We have finally started using the Twitter and Facebook accounts that I set up ages ago, and I just didn't have the time to mess around with them. Well, now that Rick has helped me out, we are going to start posting stuff up there all the time, and I figured this would be a great way to get you guys the information that happens with the smaller mods or when I need to hotfix some settlements, because right now the only way you can really get the latest information is if you happen to be on the Patreon Discord or if you follow simsettlements.com, which is not super convenient. So now you can use whatever Twitter or Facebook you guys like to use. If you want to follow us on there, you'll get all the information. And we're also going to use it for some fun stuff and for some new user tips, maybe some giveaways, and just a way to stay more engaged with you guys on a more day-to-day basis, whereas YouTube tends to be something that I only get you guys news about once a week or once every other week. So the social media is just going to be a quicker means of reaching you guys for smaller things in between those. So I hope you guys will join us on there. And other than that, take care and enjoy the mod.